I got asked a question today in a private message about Bitcoin, and the person wanted to know if it's possible that our cycle is over and that $73,500 was in fact the top for the cycle. And so I told that person that I would take a look at it in more detail in a video because I felt it was a fair question to ask. And regardless of what people think, every theory deserves some attention. So we're going to take a look at that today. And that's why this video is called The Lost Cycle, because if that happened, I think most of us could agree that the bull cycle that we have been so excited for and waiting for years for was in fact already kind of extinguished. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that today. This is Crypto Simulation Theory. I am the Gaussian Snake, and I do have a Telegram group called the Snake Pit, and you can join that in the link in the video description. So let's go ahead and get started. What is a triple top? I want to start with that because I think it's important to kind of have an understanding of a triple top pattern to kind of even be able to start to answer this question. And so I'm going to go ahead and blow this text up a little bit so it's easier for you to see. A triple top pattern, as you can see here, this is an uptrend leading to top one, top two, top three, is probably the most bearish pattern you can possibly have in the crypto space and in the stock market, anywhere there's charts. So it's a bearish reversal chart pattern that indicates a shift in market sentiment from bullish to bearish. And you can think of it as a more strong version of a double top, which is also bearish, but not nearly as bearish as a triple top. And these are basically the characteristics that identify a triple top pattern. All three highs should be reasonably equal, well spaced, and mark clear turning points. And you could draw a support line to identify the support level and a neckline that connects the lows in between the three peaks. When the neckline breaks, it signals the activation of the formation. And as it says, they're not often seen in everyday market trading. And you'll see a lot of disagreement in the community about um, triple tops. Like, I think there are people who believe that um, they don't really exist. Sure, I think they exist, and we can probably find some examples of them if we look hard enough. But I feel like we only are really interested in asking this question about Bitcoin. We can certainly look to other assets to decide if this is a reasonable kind of pattern. So I'm going to pull up Bitcoin and let's go ahead and see what this person might have been referring to. And so you can see Bitcoin over here. Um, so what would the triple top be? Well, it would roughly represent a region. If I draw a rectangle, just kind of roughly in here, put this up here. Okay, and we'll color this. We'll do like green, and we'll color the inside a really light green. Whatever. This is not my strength. Um, Making these little pretty drawings. Okay, whatever. It's green. So the triple top in this situation would have presumably been, this top here would be top one, and then this top here would be top two, and then this top that we just had a few years later would be top three. And they are all roughly at the same level, especially when adjusted for the M2 money supply. So is this the end? Have we reached a bear market? And are we going to end up with something that I would kind of refer to as a lost cycle? Because I really doubt anybody thought this move here was the bull run. Um, some people made a lot of money in this, recovery, but we really didn't put in a new all-time high when accounting for the money supply. In fact, I would argue this is probably a slightly lower high if you account for inflation. So I think, yeah, it's worth kind of considering this theory, and let's go ahead and see. Okay, we'll look at some indicators and an idea. So the triple top pattern would suggest that the top is in, and that basically what's going to happen from here is we are going to head into some kind of very surprising bear market and form a low somewhere maybe around $30,000 or something like that before maybe having another recovery. You can ignore the time frame on this. If it were a bear market, it wouldn't recover that quickly. So let me. Do you guys get entertainment out of watching me like screw around with these indicators and never be able to use them right? um, Let me see if I can get a better time frame that would be more realistic. So you would have this come down probably in a pretty big way, and I think we would see a probably a pretty prolonged bear market. And yeah, that's why I don't like using the path drawing tool, because if you click it more than once, it starts to draw the path, and when I'm not ready for the path because the screen was over too far. So yeah, anyways, it'd be something like this. Okay, so I'd probably just use a regular tool on that, but not this far down for sure, not that far down. Okay, we're gonna just use a regular arrow, and yeah, I don't think we even, okay, maybe in a recession or something like that, we come down like 25K or something. I really don't see us going too much lower than that. 30K is kind of, to me, pretty bargain basement price at this point. So I'm just trying to set up the idea of the triple top. That would be really disappointing. It would probably plunge us, this would be a bear market that would be drawn out for a little while, and just really not a good thing for Bitcoin in the long term. It could be, honestly, it could be years before we take out a new all-time high if the triple top were to play out. It does remind me, I think gold had a triple top as well, and I can't remember exactly what time frame that was on, and then that triple top turned into a bull flag. That's often what happens with these formations is you get what looks like a triple top, and then it becomes a very large bull flag. And that's kind of been my base case for what might be happening here. But of course, I'd like to provide some evidence to suggest that we still have room to run, um, and also show you where this idea of the triple top loss cycle is coming from. It's not just from coming at, from looking at this chart, but there's more to it. So let me just go over to gold and see if we can identify what was the triple top. I see it right now, and you can see how it kind of gets invalidated. And I actually think that this might be a likely situation for Bitcoin going forward. So you can see here's the first top, and here's the second top right here. This is the third top. And so when you see a triple top formation like this, it's often interpreted in a very bearish way. And this is kind of like similar to what we're seeing is, look at it, came in here to like a bearish cross, very similar to what Bitcoin has done recently. It's just maybe half a year ahead of schedule, a little more than that. And it just took off, and gold is rallying right now while Bitcoin is kind of Bitcoin's been rallying today and yesterday after a horrible weekend. And of course, we will take a look at that. But overall, Bitcoin is down, right? So Bitcoin is had a pretty significant rally off of 49-ish K. So yeah, it's like you can see how a triple top emerges, but really ultimately just resolves to the upside in a bullish flag. So just to kind of summarize, triple tops often resolve to the upside in a bullish flag pattern formation. And that's sort of my base case for Bitcoin right now too. So just to be clear, my own opinion, at least before this investigation that I'm doing, sorry, my own opinion before this investigation is that let's get back to Bitcoin. Is that Bitcoin is forming a triple top pattern that's ultimately going to result to the upside in a bull flag. So what I mean by that is, while I feel that Bitcoin can certainly go lower again, and I think that it likely will, not into, I would say into September most likely. I think we could hit the mid 40s again, and I think that honestly that's probably where we'll find a bottom, somewhere in there. And then I think what's likely to happen is Pumptober probably will test the all time. I think there's a chance we'll actually break through the all-time high into the end of the year. I think it's quite likely, and achieve a new all-time high that's going to be a lot higher than people think. I think we will run into some resistance around 100K, But who knows? Maybe maybe we push down in January, and then come February we take off to like 140K, and then we get turned into altcoin season, like a major altcoin season. That's kind of my base case, honestly. I think something like this is very likely to play out, and you might wonder why. Well, we can get into that later. Okay, this is just I want to be clear that I'm bullish, and while I am short-term bearish until rate cuts, I'm already seeing signs. The Fed's doing buybacks, so you can see liquidity starting to enter the system. If we go to USM2, I'm pretty sure I haven't looked at this in forever, but you can see the trend. This is logarithmic. It should be linear. Let's go linear. I guess it doesn't really make much of a difference on the scale. Stick with logarithmic. You can actually see that the money supply formed a nice bottom, is heading back up. So that's kind of a precursor to bullishness, in my opinion, and not bearishness. But yes, let's go see what this person was saying, kind of what their argument was. So I don't remember exactly what indicator they used, but I could probably look and find out. Let me go look on my phone real quick. See, I'm not pausing my video like I usually do, so I hope if you don't like this style and you prefer me to pause, I can definitely do that. But I'm trying to see what this indicator was. It was from a Twitter post. So I think just looking at this, it looks like some kind of like maybe monthly. Yeah, I don't even know what chart this is. Like a monthly RSI or something. Let me see if I can just pull this tweet up. I am going to actually, you know what? No, I'll stay on here. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable, honestly, like taking up your time with not pausing. But we're going to just try this out, and you can put a comment if you prefer for me to pause and just have the information available. But it was from a guy named Peter Brandt. I don't know if you're familiar with him, and I'll see if I can find this post. So I'm on his page right now, looking for it. I think this may. Yep, I found it. Okay. So I found his post. We're going to go ahead and share that screen. So give me just one moment to do that. Let's come back here. So let's go ahead and share this Peter Brandt's Twitter. Okay. So you can see here, we zoom in on it. Word of warning. He says, this is a brilliant chart posted by a very smart person that must be taken seriously when trying to grasp an understanding of binary price possibilities for Bitcoin. And you can see kind of this triple top is almost outlined here. What he's doing is he's saying, okay, between this top, which this looks like the probably the second 2013 top, and connecting to the 2017 top, we had a pretty nice slope, right? You could even draw a line here. And then you connect these two together and you have, a less steep slope. And then you connect these three together, and you have just kind of a flat line. And I guess what he's saying is, the RSI. So yeah, this is the RSI. And we'll actually probably try to replicate this. I'm guessing this is stochastic, maybe. So this is the RSI here, and you can see kind of a declining trend. And then he's saying, "Oh, I think we put in a peak here," even though this is a much steeper decline. And so he's saying you've got to consider this as a possibility. I guess HTLNL. I don't know who that is. So I think we should kind of look at this on our own and see if there really is any merit to this theory. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's Bitcoin. All right. By the way, I have the Gunnar EMA band. This has become one of my favorite indicators on the weekly time frame pulled up because it's showing that we're getting close to a bearish cross, but not guaranteed to happen. So it looked like he was on a monthly time frame, something like that. Let's see if we can kind of squeeze in as much data as he squeezed and see, so what he's kind of looking at, what that guy was looking at, whose name I don't remember. I know Peter Brandt was the one who kind of brought up. is something like this playing out. Very similar pattern to like Bitcoin dominance. In fact, we could pull up a Gaussian channel, probably get some insight from the channel. The channel does appear to be kind of flattening out, but it's not like it hasn't done that before. I mean, it always kind of flattens out before it takes off on another leg. And it doesn't even look like it's taken off on the leg that it usually takes off on. This is, of course, lagging data during a bull run. And so the conclusion is this is basically about to roll over. And I'm guessing, into a recession or something like that. That's sort of like what they're thinking. So let's get rid of that arrow. Okay. I'm going to take the Gaussian channel off. Let's pull up the RSI and stochastic RSI. I'll just put them both together. And you can kind of see this pattern that Peter Brandt was alluding to, where we have the RSI up here hitting a peak of around 96.3. Again, here in 27. So that here, by the way, this is April 2013, December 2013, double peak on the RSI. And then July of 2017, a peak in December 17, a peak in April of 2021, and then this very disappointing peak in March of 2024. And so I think this is not enough data to make a conclusion that we've had a triple top. Because what's to stop this from turning around and kinking to the upside? Yes, stochastic is on its way down as well. By the way, for those of you, I don't talk about stochastic RSI as much on my channel anymore, mainly because I just don't really feel it's all that useful. Stochastic RSI is the second derivative of price, or if you like, it's the rate of change of the RSI. And I just don't find it to be all that useful personally. I'm much more interested in the RSI and variations of it. So, but nonetheless, I think it's worth exploring. So I can't invalidate this person's theory, but I also can't validate it. So he's saying, yeah, we're just pretty much going to go down and drop from here. Okay, I'm like, well, if you're just going to base that off of some stupid pattern on RSI, I don't really think that's a lot to go off of. Let's look at the ADX and DI on the monthly. This is a chart I really haven't looked at in a while, but I did look at it early on in my channel. So I'm kind of coming full circle here. So you can see that, and for those of you who don't know, sometimes I talk through these indicators like everybody knows what I'm talking about. I apologize. If it's not clear, you can always ask me, come to my Telegram, ask me to explain an indicator. I'd be happy to do that. So to make this simple, the green is basically bullishness, and when green is going up, that's very bullish. The red will go down when green is going up. That's if red's going down while green's going up, that's the most bullish situation. What you don't want to happen is that the green's kind of going down and the red's going up, or red is above green. Red has only been above green twice in Bitcoin's entire history, once in August of 2015, and again during the arguably the worst bear market we've had, which was the latter half of 2022. And it almost happened again in August and September of 2023. So the question is, are we about to have this happen again? The white line is the ADX, or the average directional index. It indicates kind of the overall trend strength. And you can see that it does look like we may be starting to crest here, which is a little bit concerning. So this is a level of around 35, and you can kind of see. I'm just going to call Peter Brandt's argument because I can't remember the other guy's name, but it's right here, HTLNL. Okay, whatever. You can kind of see like there's some kind of pattern forming here, but who's to say this doesn't come back up, right? So what it's saying is the trend strength right now is about 35. So any moves are going to be fairly strong on the monthly level. When you get down here, the moves are a little bit weaker. Okay, but again, I look at this chart, I can kind of see, okay, there are like lower highs definitely forming on the green DI, lower highs on the ADX, but that's sort of to be expected with diminishing returns and diminishing volatility. So there's nothing really that I don't know, nothing really that telling here. So I have to really think about my indicators. Is there something I could point to that might invalidate the theory? And so I'm going to come to my reverse Chanday momentum oscillator, which I call the price momentum oscillator, because I just don't know what else to call it. And this one is one I take very seriously. I usually look at this on the 2-week time frame. I'm going to zoom in and look at this on the monthly time frame. And here's what I notice. And I honestly haven't looked at this in a long time. The signal lines go from green to red, green to red. It's pretty clean for the most part. We can see that on the monthly time frame, we had a pretty nice peak in April of 2013, another peak in November of 2013. Okay, 2017 cycle, we had a peak in August of 2017, another peak in November of 2017. This does not necessarily correspond to the actual price, it's corresponding to the momentum. Because look, we came down into January 2018, but then we had a little kink, and we were pretty much in a bear market. Um, as long as you're in the green, you're good. But when you come below the signal line, that's generally bear market territory. You can see 2017 was very choppy. Sorry, 2019 was very choppy. We had just, we went way down here. It seems like, you get down to like the -60 level before you can really say things are bottomed out. That's January 2019. This is November, December 2022. This is November 2014, June through August 2015. This is July 2012. So these are pretty reliable bottoming indicators. I haven't actually used this to identify a bottom just yet. So we're looking at this peak, and I can understand there is a little bit of concern. We got to a peak value on the monthly that's quite lower than what we've had before. I mean, this is only a level of 80 on the monthly, so much, much lower than anything we've experienced up to this point. And I don't I don't know what to say at this stage, except the signal line still is green, although it is curving. So might we come under this signal line? This almost looks like a head and shoulders formation. It does not look good. Okay. This is probably a point for HTL and else theory. I gotta hand it to the guy. So this is disappointing, but who's to say that we don't do something like, let me explain with a drawing. Let's do the path tool. Who's to say we don't do something kind of like, we come down maybe and maybe do something a little bit like 2021, or I don't know, there's September, maybe we come down in September and then we have our Pumptober into, maybe December, and then we come down again, maybe in January or February, and then we go up again into April or May or something like that. And then we come down, and who's to say something like this doesn't happen, right? Maybe we don't achieve a higher high, but that's okay. Like anytime you're above the green and you're going up, it's bullish. It's just your ROI is probably maxed out. So it is possible the ROI from cycle bottom is maxed out, but it doesn't mean that we're about to head into a bear market. I mean, if you look at the time that we went like this and compare it to previous times, we haven't really been in a bull cycle for very long. Like this, the green, um, the green signal line hasn't really been active for super long. And you say, well, in the 2020 2021 cycle, it was just all over the place, and you're absolutely right. So unfortunately, on the monthly, we don't have a lot of data to go off of. But I think there's going to be a bit of a battle here at the signal line. You know, here's the thing: like if the Fed's going to inject liquidity into the system, it should be bullish for markets. Like it just should be. Like there shouldn't be a reason why we then head into a bear market right away. I think we will have a very nasty bear market. I just don't think that we're there yet. I mean, by all accounts, the bull cycle hasn't even really begun yet. So that's sort of my counter argument that we're just going to go straight down. I mean, when have we ever gone straight down? 2017, there were bumps along the way, but we look at all this time we spent with a green signal line, and you can see here we chopped around a lot. And then the other thing is, what if we do breach the yellow line? What if this is a lower high? Because you can see what's happened in the past, right? So like in 2017, February 2017, we also achieved a similar level, and then we started going down, but we came right back up. So what if we do that again and we come up in a very impressive level? I mean, every single cycle we've hit above 80. So, I mean, it doesn't mean we have to again, but what if we form like an inverse head and shoulders here, and that, we get to the top? So there's a lot of things to consider with the reverse Chandy momentum oscillator, or price momentum oscillators, I call it. Um, yeah. So let's close that out. I guess another thing we could look at is waveforms on the monthly, something I haven't really, again, spent much. I haven't spent a lot of time looking at Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, to be honest with you. Okay, I can see like a little cause for concern here, but so this is wave trend, and you can see that we just barely made it into the red box. It seems like every cycle we've gone a little bit lower. And I mean, we're still in the red box. We printed two dots in 2021. We printed two dots way above the red zone in 2013, just one in 2017. And I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be some more oomph. At the end of the year, October through December, I feel like this is going to be curling back around and heading up again. Maybe putting in a I don't think Bitcoin's going to necessarily print like three tops or anything like that. I think 73K is a significant top. This level, this red dot was achieved in July to indicate the turning point, but of course you can see March 2024 was when we started to curve back around. I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that that's it. The end. That's the end. If you look at like the amount of time we've spent above the grid, we had this here, we had this time here. Um, we spent all this time above the grid in this cycle, and here it's a little harder to see because the history doesn't go back. And we haven't spent like a ton of time here. This is like February of 2023. We really didn't even get up that high. Here we got up pretty high, and yeah, I mean it just I don't think the bull cycle is necessarily over. This is a little concerning that we are heading down at this point, but it's not. Again, there's nothing proving that we're having a triple top cycle. If we combine our cycle with these 2 points, that okay, this is the third top on down we go. And yeah, if we just look at the chart itself, zoom in on it, and I'm going to pull up some moving averages too. Um, this we have a bullish cross on the monthly in November of 2023. It's still a bullish cross. In fact, the bullishness is still quite pronounced. Like, look at all this distance, and look, we wicked down below, and look, this wick was bought up. The green Gunner EMA right now is around 54, 55,000. The red Gunner EMA is around 46. So even if we were to come down again in September, maybe even tap this lower one, a little more aggressively, I still would say we could very much still be in a bull cycle. I mean, look what happened here in the summer low. We got pretty close to the red zone. If you go back to 2019, we even had a bearish cross um, coming out of this awful bear market, and look how choppy this was. But that was like the last bearish cross for many years, right? And you can see the last bearish cross before that occurred in March of 2015. We got a bullish cross in January 2016. We didn't get another bearish cross. Of course, by then your bear market is already underway. So that's the question. Are we like falling into a bear market? You can see here, it looked like we were, but we weren't. Here we were. Here we were just in an accumulation range, but there were times where it looked like we were about to head back down. 20, what is this, 2013? Yeah, look at, I mean, the green signal line kind of came down. These are EMAs. Did finally get a bearish cross after that secondary top. So I think the possibility of a secondary top is quite high, and you could just maybe view this as one giant bull flag. And if you do view this as one giant bull flag, then we would expect a very explosive move to occur in the not so distant future. And that's kind of my base case, although I don't have any real evidence to support my argument either. Yeah, I'd say my evidence is mostly circumstantial. I don't have great evidence at the moment. So I'm gonna pull up two of my favorite tools, or simple tools, whole moving averages. Now the whole moving average is a little bit different than an SMA. So you're probably used to people using SMAs, simple moving averages. And whoa, I just realized my video is gone. 1 second. Yeah, sorry. My camera, I have the settings to where it's not supposed to turn off at all, and yet it seems to turn off after about 25 minutes. So sorry about that. Hopefully you can still hear me. But what I was, I mean, the audio pretty much tells the story. You don't necessarily even see me talking up here. But anyways, going back to the monthly time frame, putting in whole moving averages. Again, this is a 50-week. This is a 50-month whole moving average. 50 months is a very strong moving average, and this is a 100-month whole moving average. So you're talking like some pretty robust averages, and these are more current than SMAs. So there was a death cross, and death crosses and golden crosses mean a lot more on these than they do on SMAs or EMAs, because the average is just a lot more current. So in March of 2020, we had a death cross. That was kind of, culminated with this COVID drop, which took us near the lows of the bear market. And then we had a golden cross in November of 2020. And that's when the parabolic move really started to take shape. And you can see that we were kind of starting to lean towards a death cross when, where the 50-month was starting to curl over towards the 100-month. And that was happening in like June of 2022. You could already see that things were rolling over. I mean, we were already getting well into our bear market by December 2021, but really it was about April, May that we knew, okay, this cycle's over. And then we had a death cross materialize sort of at the end, at the bottom, around December, January. And then, we've curled back around, and now we're actually about to make a golden cross. So this would be a very strong counter argument. It would seem to suggest, and congratulations if you've been with me this long in this video, especially with my video cutting out. I'll have to be more mindful about this camera that I'm using and that it can do that. But, you can almost visualize this golden cross happening, right? And extending and parabolic move happening fairly soon. So this is a counter argument. Just something this simple, the 50 and the 100-month HMAs are showing me that bullishness is a lot more likely than bearishness. Even if we get short-term bearishness, I'm really not too worried about it when I look at this indicator. So this provides me with some reassurance. Let's throw a 20 in there just for fun. Um, okay, so at the 20, 20 is not as significant, but it can point to probably shorter term things going on. We are beneath the 20-month HMA. We've gotten below it before only to bounce off the 50, and I think that's what's likely to happen. If you look at this, look where the 50 and the 100 are meeting. They're meeting at 45, 46K. So if you're looking for a scare in the market, I think this is a good region to look at for a scare to end and for buy volume to come in strong. I think around 45,000, you're going to see an absolute like monstrous recovery, assuming September is a red month or even August gets worse, which we don't know yet. When we've had, so we don't even have a death cross, right? This is starting to curl over, but so what? It's done that in the past, didn't mean a thing. You look at the 20 here, it rolled over, but we got a death cross on the 50, and that's really where we got some trouble. So we're nowhere near having something like that. Okay. So I'd say that a strong counterpoint to the triple top loss cycle theory is right here. Let's look at the SAR, parabolic SAR. So a monthly parabolic SAR is going to be a lot stronger than a weekly parabolic SAR. And according to the monthly parabolic SAR, we're still in a bull cycle. This is bullish when the dots are down here. When the dots are up here, that's bearish. You have to break through it to make it bullish. So we broke through the bearish SAR in October of 2023. The bearish SAR at that time was 37,000. We broke through it, didn't look back, and we had some monstrous run. Right now, the bearish SAR target is around 43K. So if we break below 43K and we stay down there with a monthly close, like a monthly close at like 42K or something like that, I will start to think that the triple top theory could have some legs to it. Okay, but as long as we're above 42K this month, I'm not going to worry. I'm just not going to worry. So, like if you look in past cycles, COVID definitely put us beneath what would be considered a bullish SAR, but we recovered right away. So if we do penetrate 42K, I think it would just be a wick that would go down there and make a nice recovery. So the SAR is another counterpoint, in my opinion. It's some of these really simple indicators, honestly, that are telling the story. Let's see if AI has anything to say about it. I doubt it. On the monthly, it doesn't. What else could we look at? So we've looked at a lot, and I think, I mean, those are some pretty good counterpoints. Look at the bull bear power trend on the monthly, kind of see a story of the markets playing out. So if we just kind of like look here, major market cycle peaks, you know, we would come. So what would happen here? This is December 2017, bull market was over. What about over here? February 2014. What is this? This is November 2013. Yeah, bull market was over. Bull market was over. May of 2021, bull market was not over. Look what happened. These green histogram bars indicate bulls are still in control. We have green histogram bars. So even if we do come down here like we did in the last cycle, who cares? There's nothing suggesting that the bull market is over. Um, Nothing at all. Just we've done something very similar to what we did in late 2020 or even over here in late 2017. So, or late 2016 going into early 2017. So I have no reason to believe that this is it. And we're just gonna, that's it, we're done, right? We could come down into this region, the gray region, but as long as we're printing green histogram bars, that is a sign that the bull market is still on, even if the trend has been kind of a cool off, right? It's been in a cool off pattern. Is there anything else that I can think of that I would want to look at on the monthly? Maybe Keltner channels. No, those are horrible to do with logarithmic on the monthly. Let's not go there. And yeah, that was a bad idea. These work better on shorter time frames, and I want to stick to longer time frames. We can look at the Gaussian ribbon. Yeah, there's a Gaussian ribbon. Only turn red twice. If you slice through it, that's generally a bearish thing, right? Slicing through it. We are heading towards it, but we're nowhere near slicing through it. And look at these Gaussian ribbons. The bubbles usually blow up pretty well, and ours has barely even started to be green. Okay, it's probably going to be flatter than it was here, but this is it. This is all we get. Now we go red again. I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, let me think if there's anything else that could be useful. Maybe the Snabel RSI. I mean, we've already looked at RSI, so I don't know. I looked at regular RSI, so I'm not sure if Snabel RSI is really going to tell us much, but it's a nice exaggerated version of RSI. Okay, we did peak, right? Um, we did definitely peak. You know, you can see that this is a major peak. We've had a nasty fall. We have yet to print a lower low. Okay, this is our low at around 45. We're currently at around 50 something. So it's entirely possible that we get a bounce here and we come back up. Maybe we don't go this high. Maybe we put it in double top. I don't know. Can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. But you go back to, look at 2013 as an example. We put in a lower high, right? Or sorry, a higher low. I get those words mixed up. And I mean, it was a higher low relative to here. It was actually a lower low relative to here. But we bounced. We bounced at this level. Have we had a lot of bounces beneath the 55 line, but if we're right sitting at the 50? Well, we had a bounce here in August. This was kind of a, what do they call this? A dead cat bounce. So I don't really count that. June of 2021 to November, that was definitely a viable bounce. December 2019, we kind of had a little bounce there. So, are you still with me, guys? Still listening to this? There was a bounce here in April 2014 that was in a bear market. You have to keep in mind, though, that this was during a time of much higher volatility. Look at all these bounces. Of course, they were above this line. There was a bounce here in 2012. I guess with such limited data, yeah, this is a pretty sharp drop, though. But I anticipate there's going to be a bounce, and we could get above the yellow line again at some point, maybe a little bit later in the year. So, okay, I didn't make the best argument with that. What about the stochastic oscillator? I don't think that'll tell us much different than the wave trend. But yeah, so the stochastic oscillator, as you see, it can spend a lot of time at these upper levels, just like it could spend a lot of time at the lower levels, although it tends to spend more time at the upper levels. It's been chopping around here for quite some time. You can see it peaked above here in June 23, October, March, and we've just been putting in lower highs and lower lows. So that is sort of a bearish trend, but we could easily pop right back up here. So this is one of those indicators where it's not really telling you a whole lot. We have July of 2023 to August of 2024. So that's like a year and a month. We started to get above this in August of 2020. Didn't really come down in a material way until November of 2021. So it was like a year and 3 months. And we even kind of tapped it briefly in May of 2019. Here, we got above it in February 2016. Bull market wasn't over for almost 2 more years. Here, we got above it in December 2020. Bull market was over about a year later. So, yeah, I mean, it's possible, right? There's no way to truly know at this point. So, if I knew the answer to this question, then I would probably be a lot richer than I actually am, right? All we can do is just look at indicators and look at what's going on in the broader market and take a guess. The pi cycle Bitcoin top wasn't triggered this cycle, so that's something to keep in mind. And it's always been triggered. So that doesn't mean, I mean, all indicators are good until they break, right? I think I want one of these. I have a pi cycle to, oh, you know why? It's because I'm on a monthly time. Let me change the time frame to weekly. Okay, and so on the weekly time frame, especially if we like zoom out, you can see the different moving averages. So I think this is the 100 day, and this is the 350 times 2. And you can see that this reminds me a little bit of like the HMAs, right? We have not even had that bullish cross yet that indicates a pi cycle top. In fact, you zoom in, look at where we found support, right on the 350 times 2 SMA. And that was this. Does this look bearish to you? This candle was brought up. This is actually I think, like a bearish or a red a dragonfly doji. I think that's what this is called because there's no upper candle wick. It's just a lower wick. You can correct me in the comments. My structural TA is not the best. Yeah, I mean, let's go back to previous cycles. Even here, like, yeah, bear market, we went below there. And we actually went sliced below it on the COVID drop, right? It didn't mean a thing. We just curled right back up. What about, I mean, it's here, you didn't have this green HMA, this green SMA to really reference back in the 2013 cycle, but you can see at a pi cycle top, and man, it took us a while to even get below that. Then a double bottom, super bullish formation. It's probably why 2017 was so incredible. And we just did not come down anywhere near it until the end of the cycle. So, and then here it wasn't until the end of the cycle. So you might want to start to worry if we start breaking below this, okay? But as long as we can kind of recover and this keeps trending up, I think we're in good shape and we're nowhere near the end of this cycle. Like maybe the end of the cycle is somewhere out here in late 2025 or at the earliest maybe mid 2025 as we slip into what I think is going to be a nasty, somewhat nasty recession. But worry about that next year. Okay, is that enough? I mean, it's been like 45 minutes almost. My camera cut out earlier. Apologize for that. Hopefully, I didn't lose too many of you. I'm gonna have to learn to remember or figure out how to. You know what? If I have a Canon M50 EOS, I think it's called EOS M50 or something. If any of you know how I can make it not do that after 25 minutes, let me know because I turned off the automatic turn off feature. I'll have to look through. I'll look through the settings, figure it out myself. Um, so triple top. What do you think? Do you think that we're going to have a lost cycle and that was it, and now we're heading into a recession in the middle of an election that's about to come up with Fed cutting rates? No, well, you cut rates too late. Is that what you think, or do you agree with me and think that the cycle is still healthy and it's just doing what it always does, which is scaring the market out with a bear trap before we head higher? That's what I think. Let me know in the comments, or you can let me know in my Snakepit Telegram group. Again, link, I'm pointing at my name. The link to joining this, and it's just because everything's backwards. The link to joining this is in my description. This is Crypto Simulation Theory. I am the Gaussian Snake. Thank you for joining me today to discuss Bitcoin, the lost cycle. And I would be interested to hear your thoughts on my opinions and my analysis and what you think. Is this too much? Is this too little? I have a reputation for pretty long videos that go into a lot of depth, and this is no exception. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like and share this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube if you want more content like this. And I will see you again next time. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice or acted upon without consulting a professional financial advisor, which I am not. All right, take care. See you next time. Bye.